Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. And welcome to Turning Your Passion into Profit Morning Show. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're having a fantastic day, wherever you may be around this globe. It certainly is a beautiful morning to get those things done. You know, those things that you have purpose in your heart to do. It's such a fantastic morning, y'all. You know, sometimes you just have to just do it. Just do it. Not thinking about it, but just do it. But let me ask you this. Did you wake up this morning and frame your day? You know what I mean by framing your day? Maybe some of you don't know, about framing your day. I always get up, and before, I get in the presence of others, I get in the presence of God, number one. And then I get in the mirror and I frame my day. I talk to myself, self talk. I look myself in the eyes and I tell myself, I say, Gertrude, you are a fantastic person. You are a game changer. You are intentional. And then I begin to, frame my day the way that I desire my day to go. And I'm going to tell you what, y'all, it works. It works. There may be some things that try to invade my day, coming in and, trying to discourage me or whatever. And, that's something that happens to all of us. But because I woke up in the morning and frame my day, I'm gonna tell you, things are different. You begin to know how to navigate throughout your day. You'll know how to be intentional. You'll know how to, pay attention to the things that you need to pay attention to. Y'all, it's so important. It's so very important. Excuse me one moment. To get up and frame your day. So, with that being said, let me introduce myself. I'm Gertrude J. Chapman, your number one inspirational book coach, and I teach you how to maximize your potential and stop leaving money on the table. How many know that that's a reality? Chime in the comments. Excuse me, if you know that that's a reality. A lot of times, you leave money on the table because you're not maximizing your potential. That's very important, y'all. That is very, very important. Today we're going to talk about where success begins. Where does success begin? Have you ever thought about that? A lot of times people don't realize they're looking for success from outside things to bring into their lives. When the reality is success begins in the mind. It begins with you. It begins with you recognizing your value, recognizing your purpose, recognizing who you are, and being unapologetic about it. And not selling. When I talk about leaving money on the table, how many of y'all could say, Gertrude, I know that I need to do more. I know that I need to do better. But, sometimes I just get so discouraged. Sometimes I just get so overwhelmed. Sometimes I just don't know where to turn. How many of you could, um, say that that's me? If that's you, drop it in the comment section and say, that's me. First you have to be honest with yourself. First you have to acknowledge that, there is a problem, there's a situation where you're not seeing your value, where you're selling yourself short, okay? Where you're looking for your value to come from other people, for people to validate you, instead of you, looking within yourself and seeing what value you already have. A couple of weeks ago, I asked the audience, I asked them to take time out to just get in a solitary place and define themselves. Define who they really are. And this is something that, all of us should do. Write it down, because it's very important to write things down instead of allowing them to just, be in your mind and not putting it to paper. It's very important, y'all. Very, very important to learn how to write things down. And once you're in that solitary place, take your journal and begin writing, describing yourself. And, not criticizing yourself, y'all, because none of us are perfect. But describing yourself, the values you have, the things that people always depend on you for, or the things that they're constantly asking you. They see value in you, but you're not seeing value in yourself. Because, like I said, it begins inside of you. The transformation, the recognizing of your value begins inside of you. And if you see some things that, that you're not pleased with, write them down, but don't be hard on yourself. And think about ways. I'm going to say look for ways. Think about ways that you could change those things to enhance, your value or what you think about yourself. Because it's all here. It's about what you think about yourself. That's your value. And you have to recognize those things. Recognize the value you have within you. And like I said, if there's things that, needs to be adjusted or changed or whatever, it's okay. It's okay. Make those adjustments and stick by them, because it's very, very important. Your value is your self-worth. You have value, and it doesn't come from the outside. It comes from the inside. And so today we're going to talk about where success begins. Where does success begin? And before I get started, I want to drop in the comments section about, and I'm going to put it here, a link here for the upcoming conference that's coming up called Monetize You. And we have some dynamic speakers. And it's a free conference. And it's going to take your business or your book to the next level. Because I always tell you, audience, that your book is a gateway. Your book is a gateway. And your book will open up many doors for you. And if you're that entrepreneur and you don't have a book, this is this is how you leave money on the table. But in this conference, like I said, there are some dynamic speakers. We have a lady who's going to help you with your Facebook ads. We have another lady who's going to help you with your, who's going to help you with your sales. If you are afraid to sell, she's going to help you with your sales. We have another lady who has a virtual bookstore who's going to help you get your books out there, your ebooks, your e-courses. And we have another lady who's going to help you with your website, and there's some awesome things. There are some awesome tools and strategies and tips that, you will be presented with to take your business, to take your writing journey to the next level. But you have to believe, even though, we're presenting these things to you, you're going to have to see the value inside of you. that you could do it, that you can accomplish it. You have to believe in yourself first. That's the most important part. You have to believe in yourself first in order to make it happen. Maximize your potential. Don't sell yourself short. Don't see yourself as insignificant, but see yourself as the voice for people who are looking for your information. See yourself as that expert who has answers to the questions that your audience is asking. That's what it's all about, y'all. That's what it's all about. So as we dive into this, where success begins, let's go to the first talking point. This is very important. Your first talking point is expand. If I could get it up here, let's see. Expand your expectations. You know, you have to learn how to expect abundance before you can walk in abundance. You know, a lot of times people don't expect the abundance. They're looking at lack. They're looking at, not having enough. Their minds, they're playing it small. Like I said before, it all begins in your mind. If you don't expect something, how do you expect it to come to you? You have to see abundance. We live in a world that's full of abundance. It's all the way you see things. If you close yourself off from, knowledge, from opportunities, you're diminishing your perceptive. That's why I tell, the audience to drop the links to your books in the comment section so other people could read, because if you want to be a good author, you have to be a good reader. Okay. You have to learn how to expand your mind and not have it only from, your perspective. And let me tell you, number one, you never write a book according to your perspective. You always write a book according to your audience perspective. Okay. But you have to learn how to read in order to write on a different level, in a level of expansion, as opposed to being closed off. So where success begins, it begins in the mind again. Expand your expectations. See yourself, see your book as reaching your audience. See your audience waiting for you with money in hand, waiting to purchase your book. Instead of just sitting back and saying, well, nobody wants my book. Nobody wants what I have to offer. No, you can't do that. You have to see it before you see it, or you'll never see it. And what I mean about that, you have to see it in your mind's eye before you see it in the natural. It has to be a reality here before it could ever be a reality in the natural, because this is just the way things work, y'all. Expand your expectation. See abundance in everything that you do. This is where success begins. It either is going to be abundance or lack. There's no in between. And this is the year to maximize your potential. And stop playing small. Stop playing on the small stage. Stop seeing yourself in a way that's, that you're thinking one way, you're speaking another way, and you acting another way. You have to come within unity within yourself before anything can manifest. So expand your expectation. Now, here's another one. Here's another big one, y'all. Understand your relationship toward money. A lot of times people have a bad relationship toward money. They'll say this, oh, money's evil. And that's not what it says at all. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. Okay? Where people love money so much that they'll do anything to get it. Okay? Understand your relationship with money. If you don't have a good relationship with money, if you're thinking the negative about money, okay, money is not going to come toward you. Because you remember, everything is energy. Money is nothing but a tool. It's only a tool. And a lot of times people put more value on money than what they do themselves. It's a tool, y'all. That's all money is. Money is a tool. And you can't have a bad relationship with money thinking that money's evil and money's this and money's all that, if you expect to maximize your potential and, make money from the sales of your book or from your small business or whatever it may be. You have to change your mindset about money, just like you have to change your mindset that involves abundance. It all begins in here. Whatsoever you think shall come. Okay, if you think of yourselves a certain way, or your relationship with abundance, or your relationship with money, or your relationship with your audience, that's just the way it'll be. A lot of times people repel things instead of attracting things to them, all because of what? The mindset. All because of the mindset. So if you have a bad relationship with money, you need to sit down and think about that. How can you change your relationship toward money? If you want to benefit from the sales of your book or the sales of your product or the sales in your company, selling your products or your wares or whatever it may be, you have to change your relationship toward money, because instead of attracting it, you're repelling it away from you. That's all it's about, y'all. Everything is energy. And either you can have positive energy or negative energy towards something. Success begins again with you. Success begins in your mind, according to what you think, according to those thoughts. Those thoughts become reality. So you have to change the narrative. Change the way you think. When you're sitting there defining yourself, and you're sitting there, writing down the things that are valuable about you, those gems, those treasures that you have inside of you. Think about your mind. What do you think? Okay, be present with your thoughts. Don't allow your thoughts just to run. Okay, you have heard people say, "Oh, this running through my mind." Be present. Learn how to, be aware of idle thoughts, because idle thoughts, if you think about them long enough, they will produce reality. Okay, you'll think about it, you'll meditate on it, and before long, it was maybe 2 minutes, then it went to 5 minutes, and the next thing, you're sitting there for 2 hours thinking about something, bringing that into reality, just creating it in your mind. How many know that's true? Put me in a comment if you know that to be true. That's just as bad as daydreaming. If it's something good, and instead of daydreaming, put it on paper. Write the vision and make it plain. Put it on paper. If it's something that in the mind, you have to change your thoughts in order to reach your goals. And we talked about that on the workshop we had. We talked about that maybe a couple of weeks ago about, setting those goals and planning for those goals and reaching those goals and crushing those goals. We talked about that. So all of these things are things that you can incorporate into your goals, into your into your plans, into describing, yourself. All of these things that you're hearing on these broadcasts can help you formulate, what you need to put to in your journal. Just think about these things. These things, there you would either get rid of them or change them, or you will take them and put action to them to bring something into reality. So let's go to the next one. Let's move to the next talking point. Knowing who you are. You have to know who you are. Your being helps your doing. Who are you? Have you ever thought about, asking yourself that question? People say, well, why you ask me, who am I? True, because a lot of people don't really know who they are. They're being somebody who somebody says they should be. Okay? Or they're being who somebody says they expect them to be. And they're not being true to themselves. So they're wondering why they're struggling. They're wondering why all of these things are not adding up. They're wondering why they're getting frustrated. They're wondering why, they're searching for themselves. Have you ever heard people say, oh, I'm trying to find myself? I'm trying to find myself. And you look at them and say, trying to find yourself? What are you talking about? That's exactly where it comes from. They don't know who they are. You have to know who you are. And this is a guide, okay? It guides you. Once you know who you are, your thoughts change, your actions change, your desires change. And you could be unapologetically you. It doesn't matter. When you know who you are and you know your purpose for being, you could walk by yourself and it does not matter. But you have to know who you are. This is where success begins, with you knowing who you are, and you could be unapologetic about it. There's no need for the pats on the back. There's no need for the accolades. There's no need for all the hoopla. And when you know who you are, there's confidence, that builds. There's a boldness there. There's authenticity there. There's a connection there with your audience. When you know who you are, success is right there. There's an energy there, y'all. There's an energy there. But you have to recognize your value. And you know what? It's priceless to be you. There's only one you. There's only one you. There'll never be another, and there never has been one. So be that person who you are. Don't try to be a copycat of somebody else. Don't try to fit into somebody else's armor. Be yourself and be, proud of who you are. When you're sitting down, describing yourself, be proud of who you are, your uniqueness. Because that's one thing that your audience is looking for. They're looking for that uniqueness. You're not the voice for everybody, but you are the voice for somebody. Somebody will resonate with your message, with the value that you are bringing. Somebody's, and I'm saying somebody's are looking for you. Your audience is looking for you. Remember, there's 63,000 Google searches every second of every day of people looking for information. Your book, your products, your e-courses. They're looking for this. They're scounging the internet. They're looking on YouTube. They're looking through Google of things, of books that you haven't even written, or ideas that you haven't even presented. And you're sitting back saying, who wants this? Nobody wants to buy this. Or there's too many out there. Somebody's already doing this. Well, how many brands of peanut butter do they have on the shelves? How many loaves of bread from different companies do they have on the shelves? How many jars of mayonnaise are they on the shelves? And there's uniqueness in each one of them. They may look the same, but there's different tastes. There's a different taste from Hellmann's as opposed to Blue Plate. There's different tastes, y'all. Some people like Blue Plate. Some people like Hellmann's. Some people may like this book from this author. Some people might like your book from you. But are you giving it a chance? Are you giving yourself a chance? Are you expanding your expectation? Are you putting your book out there? Are you putting your product out there? Are you putting your service out there? Because you never know. Success begins with you. Success begins with you recognizing your value. You're priceless. Anything that's unique, anything that's rare, there's a higher price tag on it. And we often look at, cars that are rare or unique. We often look at that and look at it, oh, wow, it has a higher price tag because maybe there's only one of those. But you never think about yourself. You never think about yourself being, rare or unique. And because, that's a material thing and it will depreciate no matter what. It will get old. It will rust. It will, deteriorate. But your mind never gets old. It never gets old. And as long as you have a mind to think, a mind to create, just think of the wonderful things that you could, just spit out of there and bring value to your audience. And in turn, receive a return on that. receive a return. Invest in your mind. That's another thing, y'all. Knowing who you are and investing in your mind, just like you invest in properties, just like you invest in cars, just like you invest in clothes, just like you invest in the stock market. Invest in your mind at the level that you expect results. Some of you put more money into things that deteriorate, like cars and clothes that get old, rot, tear up, or whatever, and you wind up giving them away or throwing them in the trash. But you won't invest in your mind to take you to that next level. You won't invest in yourself. There's value within inside of you. There's value, much value, that the world is waiting for. See, I'm telling you about expanding your expectation. That's why I'm telling you about the world stage. That's why I'm telling you about, there's an audience out here for you. 63,000 Google searches every second of every day of people looking for information, your books, your e-courses, your products, your services. And they're looking for it in a condensed format because everybody's too busy. Everybody's living busy lives. And they don't have time to scour the internet, but they're looking for it in a condensed format. Call a book, call a product, call a service, to answer the questions that they are seeking to get answered. But, because of all of the stuff that's out there, they need something that speaks to them. So be unique. Appreciate your uniqueness. Appreciate who you are. And don't withhold something that's going to connect with your audience. And that's called your uniqueness. That's called your uniqueness. And let us move to the next one. We said, by expand your expectation, understanding your relationship with money, knowing who you are. And the next one is taking action on your vision. How many can say, I'm going to take action on my vision? I'm going to get it out of my head, and I'm going to begin to write it down. And, this is all the building process. This is a great thing, the building process. This is your goals. This is your plan. This is the blueprint, y'all. Just like a blueprint for a house, okay? Just like a blueprint for a house. It's segmented to the specific. Each, part has a specific, places to them. Each part, everything is segmented. And I'm going to take it to the housing, because real estate was something that a family business that I grew up in. And, I was a realtor at one time. I have written mortgages. I've worked for the new home builder, and different things of that nature. So real estate has always been in my family. So, and I have read blueprints and, done stuff with blueprints and, different things of that nature. So I understand that process, and I understand, the electricians and the plumbers, what they call the roughs and the finishes and different things of that nature. So, I'm going to take it like this with the plumbing. Okay. Let's take it with the plumbing. Like the plumbing, there's an underground rough in. Okay. An underground rough in. This is at the foundation. And when I'm talking about taking action on your vision, at that foundation, this is a place where it connects the source. It connects. And when I'm talking about with a plumber, it connects, at the foundation, the source and the water meter to make sure that everything will flow like it's supposed to flow. And it identifies those connections and how they will flow in and out and throughout each other. And the same with our vision. When we write our vision down and we segment it in certain parts towards certain areas, we have our goals. We have our plans in order to reach those goals. And there's different components in there. There's different moving parts, and there's connections in there. And we have to take it to the foundation to see how it will move, throughout what we intended to move through. And then there's another thing. There's another phase of this. It's called the above ground rough. This is a messy stage, okay? This is a messy stage. This is where, the plumbers would make holes and they will adjust things to make sure that everything is working according to the specifications, okay? So as we're talking about this stage in our vision, this is where you make changes. This is where you begin to eliminate things. You begin fixing things. You begin implementing the processes, the workflow. And I talked about this a couple of days ago. I think it was on Monday, about the workflow. How things are supposed to flow in and out, how it's not supposed to be any stoppage. If there is a stoppage in something, how you're supposed to go back and adjust those things according to order, according to a time. Some things are time sensitive. Some things, they may not have an order to. Some things they may have an order to, and how you have to put those things together to help them be able to flow, your vision to be able to flow, whatever that is that you're involved in, to be able to flow through the whole process. And it's okay, because those plans are not written in stones. Those plans can be adjusted. When you see things, always be present. Always, look at your map, look at your blueprint, look at those areas that need your attention in a specific, place, and make those adjustments. It's okay to make those adjustments, just don't just get discouraged where you just throw everything out and say, oh, it's not working, and you sit back and you just procrastinate. Because I talked about people being overwhelmed. You cannot be overwhelmed if you put these things together accordingly. Overwhelm comes when you're just trying to just put things there and just throw them there and have things that shouldn't even be on that map or on that blueprint. That's where overwhelm comes from. Putting too many things together that don't even make sense. And then, the third part of this is called the trim finish, or the how you call that, the trim out, or the finishing stage. And this is where, the plumber would watch out for leaks, and they would check the water pressure, in other words. And this is where all the plans are installed for each segment of your vision, and they're connected to the vision. Everything's supposed to flow. You remember the workflow. Just like water flows through a house, just like everything is connected. The same thing with your vision. And this is where success begins. It begins in the mind. Okay. So take those thoughts out of your mind, take those visions out of your mind, and put them down on paper. Some of you have written books. You're on your writing journey. Okay. You're written books, but there's other things that's in your mind. There's other things that's there. Some of you have businesses already, and you have those businesses, but there's still things that you have in your mind because you have not gone back and you have not revisited what you have written down, or maybe you haven't even written it down, and you just trying to do it all out of your mind instead of having a blueprint down there in order to put things in order, in order for them not to overwhelm you, in order for them to work flow, that workflow to be there. So you're not picking up things that need not be there. Because how many of y'all know, and put it in the comment section, okay, that a lot of times you have a lot of wasted space in your time, in your day, with doing absolutely nothing, or things that don't even make sense. If that's you, put it in the comment section. Say, that's me. A lot of times, people do things that don't even make sense. Good morning, YouTube user. It doesn't even make sense. Okay? You have to take action on your vision. Be present to make adjustments accordingly. And that's very, very important. Take action to make those adjustments accordingly. Because as long as it's in your mind, you can't see it. But once you have it down there on paper, you can see, well, that's not working over here. Maybe I need to make adjustments here. Oh, no, I need to take this out because this won't work. Or maybe if I move it here to this position, it'll work here, as opposed to remaining in that position. You see what I mean? That's why you have to take action on your vision. Take action on what you have written down on that blueprint. It makes a difference, y'all. It makes a difference. Now let's move to our last talking point. We're going to be talking about building wealth. Building wealth. Where does success begin? It begins in the mind. Building wealth. Not just things, but building wealth. Not building riches, building wealth. There's a difference between wealth and riches. There's a big difference. You decide in this vision, okay, in what you're writing down, you decide what you need the money for. Put it down, write it down. And then you decide how you're going to use the money. This is all a part of the plan. This is all a part of the blueprint. This is another segment. Remember, everything's in the segment. Workflow. Your vision. Remember we talked about the vision. Write down your vision. Make it plain. We talked about, defining yourself. That's what we did in the beginning. Let's bring it back. We talked about defining yourself. We talked about that. Then we talked about the vision. Now we're talking about wealth. What you're going to do with that. What you're going to do with that money. Have you allocated that money out? How much money do you need to do such and such, such and such? Everything is a plan. You have goals. You have plans to reach those goals. So you see, there are holes here. If you're not doing any of these things, that's why you're not maximizing your potential. That's why you continue to leave money on the table. Because it's in the mind. It all begins in the mind. And you have to be 100% committed to your vision, to your goals. But if you don't know who you are, y'all, if you don't know who you are, and I know you don't know what you don't know. You really don't know. But now, since you know, now you're held responsible for coming into alignment with those things in order to maximize your potential. It's time. It's time. We in the third month, y'all, of this brand new year. And I'm going to tell you, it's not too late. You could begin today. Your January 1st could be right today. It could be today. Okay? Don't say, well, I have wasted, 2 months and I'm in the third month. You could begin right where you are. It's never too late. It's never too late. So I hope that, what I have shared with you today has brought you value. And you could begin to expand your expectations. See abundance. And the best way to see abundance is to get out there in nature. And, look at the leaves on the tree. Go to the beach and look at the sand. Okay? Look at the birds that's flying in the air. Look at the fish. Wherever you may be, y'all, there's abundance everywhere. It's all about how you see it. How, you're perceptive of things. There's no lack. There's just a lack of knowledge. Then you understand your relationship toward money. If you have a bad relationship toward money, if you thinking all those crazy things that you heard growing up, oh, money don't grow on trees, I work hard for my money and all those things, that's what's going to happen to you. You got to change your belief system about money. Oh, people that have money, they're evil. No. Money's evil. No. None of those things, y'all. None of those things. All of those things are built on lies. If that was the case, why are you working so hard, as you would say, to get money, if it's so evil? You like nice things. Some of you may even be working 2 and 3 jobs just to get those things. Money's just a tool. Money's just a tool. It doesn't, it's just a tool. That's all it is. It's neither good nor bad. It's just a tool. And people that have money, they're no different, okay? If they had a bad attitude before they got money, they're going to have a bad attitude after they have money. If they had a good attitude before they had money, they'll have a good attitude after they have money. Character has nothing to do with it. It's the person. Money doesn't have a character. It's just the tool. And then know who you are. When you know who you are and you know your purpose, it makes a difference. You'll be confident. You'll be bold. You'll walk alone if you need to, because you know what you carry and you know your value. Then take action on your vision. Get it out of your head. Take it from a fantasy into reality. And then build that wealth. Build your wealth, generational wealth. Something that you could pass on. You can enjoy it now and pass on to your children and your children's children. Doesn't that sound good, y'all? Doesn't that sound good? So where does success begin? It begins with you. And like I said, I hope that what I've shared with you today has, open your eyes, open the eyes of your understanding, where you could begin to see just how much value you have inside of you and do something about it. So join me here tomorrow at the same time, the same place, on Turning Your Passion in the Profit Morning Show. And remember this is your time. This is your season. This is your turning point. So have a great rest of your day.